Hello and welcome back to Understanding Depression, the podcast where we take a deep and compassionate look into the many layers of mental health. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a topic that doesn't get talked about enough: depression in the elderly. When we think about depression, we often imagine it affecting teenagers, young adults, or middle-aged individuals dealing with career stress and family responsibilities. But what about our seniors? What about the generation that has lived through wars, raised families, built societies, and now, in the quiet moments of aging, may be silently struggling? Today, we shine a light on the overlooked generation. Stay with us as we explore the causes, signs, stigma, and support strategies for depression in older adults. And if you find this episode helpful, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's break the silence around senior mental health. Let's start by addressing a fundamental question. Why is depression in the elderly so often overlooked? There are a few reasons. First, many of the symptoms of depression in older adults are mistakenly seen as a normal part of aging. For example, fatigue, sleep disturbances, memory issues, or withdrawal from social activities may be attributed to physical decline or cognitive changes, rather than a mood disorder. Second, older adults themselves might not recognize that they're experiencing depression. Many grew up in a time when mental health was not widely discussed. Emotional pain might be seen as a private burden, or something to be endured quietly. And third, there's a systemic problem. Routine mental health screenings are often not prioritized in primary care visits for the elderly. Physicians may focus more on managing physical ailments like diabetes or hypertension and less on asking, "How are you feeling emotionally?" Depression in older adults can arise from unique life circumstances and stressors. Let's talk about some of those now. 1. Loss and grief. As people age, they experience more losses: spouses, siblings, friends. The grief can be deep and ongoing. 2. Chronic illness. Many seniors live with chronic conditions like arthritis, heart disease, or Parkinson's, which can lead to pain, disability, and feelings of hopelessness. 3. Isolation and loneliness. Children grow up and move away, partners pass away, mobility declines. Many elderly individuals live alone and have limited social contact. 4. Cognitive decline. The early stages of dementia or Alzheimer's can be confusing and frightening, contributing to depression. 5. Retirement and loss of purpose. For many, retirement brings an abrupt end to a lifelong sense of productivity and identity. Understanding these triggers helps us be more compassionate and proactive when we notice changes in our older loved ones. Depression in the elderly doesn't always look like it does in younger people. Older adults may not talk about feeling sad. Instead, they may complain of physical aches and pains with no clear cause, exhibit changes in appetite or weight, become irritable or unusually anxious, sleep too much or have insomnia, express hopelessness or worthlessness, lose interest in hobbies or interactions they once enjoyed, exhibit memory problems or slower thinking, which might be misinterpreted as dementia. A tragic reality is that depression in older adults is associated with a higher risk of suicide. The rate of suicide is especially high in older men, particularly those over the age of 75. Let's talk stigma. For many in the elderly generation, mental illness carries a heavy burden of shame. These individuals came of age in a time when mental health struggles were taboo, when seeing a therapist might be viewed as weakness, and when antidepressants were less accessible or highly stigmatized. As a result, many older adults internalize their pain, believing they must suffer in silence. They may even deny they are depressed, fearing judgment from family or peers. This makes open conversation all the more important. When family members or caregivers gently ask about emotional well-being, it helps dismantle this harmful stigma. Segment 5. How to help and support. So what can we do to support older adults who may be facing depression? 1. Start conversations. A simple, "How have you been feeling lately?" can open doors. Be gentle, empathetic, and non-judgmental. 2. Encourage medical support. Primary care physicians can refer to therapists, geriatric psychiatrists, or prescribe medication if needed. Advocate for mental health screenings during checkups. 3. Promote social connection. Help them stay engaged, whether that means visiting often, helping them attend community events, or connecting them with senior centers or virtual groups. 4. Support healthy routines. Encourage physical activity, even light walking and nutritious eating. Routines can provide structure and purpose. 5. Educate yourself. Understanding the signs of depression and how it manifests in older people makes you a better ally. And above all, offer your presence. Sometimes just sitting with someone in silence, showing that they are not alone, makes all the difference. Let's talk treatment. Therapy can be highly effective for older adults. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, interpersonal therapy, and even reminiscence therapy, where people reflect on meaningful life experiences, can provide healing. Medication, when prescribed thoughtfully, also plays a role. It's important, though, to consider potential interactions with other medications the person may be taking. That's why a geriatric specialist is often ideal. There are also new and emerging treatments, like teletherapy, which became more popular during the COVID-19 pandemic. For seniors with mobility challenges, virtual therapy can be a game changer. Let's not forget that many older adults do recover from depression. With the right support, people in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s have found new joy, meaning, and connection. Take, for example, Margaret, 82, who fell into a deep depression after her husband of 50 years passed away. For months, she withdrew from everyone. Her granddaughter encouraged her to join a local storytelling club. First, Margaret resisted, but eventually she went. Today, she shares stories every week and mentors others. Or Charles, 76, a retired teacher who felt lost and purposeless. After seeing a therapist, he started tutoring neighborhood kids for free. The spark returned. These are real stories, and they remind us, it's never too late to heal. It's never too late to be seen. If you take away one thing from today's episode, let it be this: depression does not have an age limit. Just because someone is older doesn't mean they should be ignored, dismissed, or assumed to be simply old and tired. Our elders are our storytellers, our wisdom keepers, and they deserve compassion, support, and dignity. If you have an elderly loved one, check in with them. If you are an older listener yourself, know this: your feelings are valid, your story matters, and you are not alone. Thank you for joining this episode of Understanding Depression. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's continue to build a world where mental health has no age limit, and no one is left behind. Until next time, take care of yourself and take care of one another. This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical or psychological advice. If you or someone you know is struggling with depression or suicidal thoughts, please seek help from a qualified mental health professional or contact emergency services immediately.